Nothing we say is investment advice. Please pause on all 3 pages of this disclaimer and read it.
Good morning, everybody. Cowboy here, and it is Tuesday, June the 2nd, 8:30 a.m. EST, and we are looking at Bitcoin right now. We're looking at a nice one trade, big trade from last week, and I guess I could have had a tighter stop on it, but who cares? It's like a 2.15 to 1. It's like putting in $1,000, taking out over $2,000. This was a trade that I put in Algo Factory, and among others that were winners, but this one here is actually key because this is about what the show is about today. Is Bitcoin headed down? Is the bear market here? And it also was the basically the theme of yesterday's show. What do you call it? The weekly update, right? So if you want to see my weekly forecast, just go in the description, click the link for the free algo. You get a free algo. That's pretty cool, right? If you want to build this agentic trading bot, everybody wants the AI agentic trading bot and all that stuff. And they think they're going to go on AI and it's just going to magically create that for them. Well, good luck, because it's not how it works. You have to know about trading. But if you want to see how it's done, you can go click the link in that algo. The algorithm is the engine to an AI agentic trading bot. It will not work without an algorithm. Okay. So this shows you how to build one, shows you how to turn it into code, and it shows you the tools traders use to connect it to their exchange. So it can trade for them. We're not even sitting at the computer. Just understanding you do have to, you got to optimize it, right? You can't just like plug it in and it's going to magically work for you. You have to know what you're doing and optimize it for whatever you're trading. So, and this right here, what you're seeing on the Bitcoin chart is head and shoulders pattern. It's reliable. It's very reliable. I think it's with Bitcoin historically on this 3-hour time frame, something like 78% or better reliability. Right. And plus I have an algorithmic little seasoning on top of that that tells me it's going to keep going like that. Right. That's very high probability win in this case. It took a minute to dump, though. There were times when I thought it was going to break up. But again, you have the plan and you stick with it. And I mean, I really, really called this thing to a T, even down to where the arrow would. I mean, I drew this arrow going here. If you see where that wick goes right there, the arrow is right there. I mean, I really did that well. I could have had a much tighter trade, but I followed my rules and I put a safe stop loss here, and that was a big win. And where's it going to go from here? That's really what people want to know. What's going to happen in Bitcoin? Well, just a quick review here. Historically, and I'm going to go to a different chart here in just a moment. I'm going to go to the index so we can look at some deeper history. And I've done this before, all right? As you can see the marks on the chart. So if you go back to the first halving, or the beginning, right? The first halving and the first big move up, when Bitcoin made its top way back in 2011, and when it fell to its low, it fell 93%. It fell from $30 all the way down to like $2. And then it made its next high after the next halving. I'll put the halving events in the chart so you can see them. Okay, so the halving is key with Bitcoin. If you're new to Bitcoin, you're going to want to learn what the Bitcoin halving is because it predicts the 4-year cycle. And I know a lot of people seem to think that this time might be different, and the world's different, and the big money is in, Wall Street's in Bitcoin. It's not going to go down. Well, that might be true. It may be true that the Bitcoin doesn't do the same thing that it's always done. But in trading, we have to use the data that we have, and the data that we have says that every single halving event has resulted in a new high and a 85-ish% drop, right? So this is the first halving right here. And we could use the beginning of Bitcoin as an event, but let's just ignore that, right? Let's just look at the first halving. Well, that fell 87% off its highs, right? So here is the first halving here. You make a new high right there, and then you have a fall down of 87%, right? Even if you look at like the 1929 stock crash, which is not Bitcoin, obviously, but that I think was like an 80 some odd percent drop as well, if not above 90. These big crashes can be humongous. So here is your second halving here. So you go from the bottom after the halving. Give me a second to clear up the chart here on that. And then you take it up to the top, right? And you take the top to the next bottom, and that was 84%. And that was in December of 17 when Bitcoin went up to 19,000 and fell to about 3,000. The next top was in 2021 and it fell about 80%. Okay, so it's 77% according to this. So not quite as still pretty drastic. 80% is a big move. So if we just are conservative and we go from the recent top at 126,000 and we take that down, I just did 77% just to match the last one, right? That took price all the way down to like 30,000, actually below 30,000, right? Now, is it guaranteed to do that? We don't know, but that's what it's done so far, right? So 30,000 is a good number to look at, and it may very well get down there, right? So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead back to our other chart here. Just a moment. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to fix that. I know what I'm doing here. Give me a moment. Sorry, I usually don't go over to that chart. Now, in the meantime, in the short term, we have some targets. We have some very basic structure where price is probably going to want to go, right? So we'll take this winner off the chart. And all this other data can come off. And what we have are some basic supports. We have 64,000, and then we have 60,000. And there's a decent probability price is just going to make its way down to 64,000. That's like very likely to happen right now. Will it happen in a straight line? Probably not. This is a pretty drastic move down. So what might it look like? Well, if we zoom in a little bit, it might be easier to draw this. Now, I do think it's going to be kind of a free lunch on shorts for a minute, though. But the way I would trade this is I would look for, because there is a support. This 69 was a target, right? So there's not really a structural matter here at that level per se. I don't see any structure. There is some older structure I could mark out here. And the reason I want this is because I'm going to look at if price pulls up, where's it going to go to? And there are a couple of ways to play this, right? Okay, now we do have this hangman, this green candle, and that is right here. And that's the 1 bar pullback. It tried to rally up and then head down. And it did so basically at that old support. Okay, so what we could do is move this up to match that and look for a pullback. Price could pull back to here, and it might be a nice place to look for a short and use that structure as a good place for a stop loss. Something like this might be the way to go. Understand, though, that price may not rally up. It may just simply go down. Well, what does one do? One could simply enter that short, maybe a smaller position because the risk to reward is not as great, and grab some of that right now. Now, I would be doing this on a lower time frame. I would zoom in, and I might look for a pullback on the 5-minute or the 30-minute. Perhaps this pullback right here, and might even be willing to take a very small risk with this stop loss maybe being up in this area above. Let me draw this out so you can see what I'm thinking here. This is a very clear downtrend, right? So above one of these peaks, say perhaps above this peak right here, or that peak right here, if I want to be a little more conservative. I'd say this peak is probably fine because it may stop out and I can just take another trade and use that as part of the pullback and just take a very small risk on this. Stay above there by at least the spread, or however you do your stops. You know, I'm not going to just give it all away for free right now. You're going to have to figure that out on your own. And now we have a 5-to-1 trade right there. So just a couple options right there. Yeah. Now the Bitcoin trade that we saw the winner from last week. I believe I gave that away for free on this Algo Factory here. And that's just, not for you to trade. It's not free. I'm not saying, hey, trade this. What I am saying is this is what I'm going to trade. Okay. And we do this here on this show. We do it with any symbol you want. If somebody's in the comments and they want to see like a chart, then I do a chart for them, right? So, that's something you could just put in the comments. Say, hey, Cowboy, let me see what you think Amazon's going to do, or let me see what you think, TLT is going to do, or, just ask for a chart. I'd be happy to do it for you. Come on live. You can ask live, or join Algo Factory. And a great way to start that process is go to the link in the description, click in the free algo, and that's going to go ahead and let you know how to get my weekly report. It's going to give you a chance to see how we build algos, how we extract profit from these markets on a regular basis. Day traders do it a few times a week, several times a week. Some day traders, swing traders, people who may have a job, they only have maybe a few hours, 15, 30 minutes a day to look at the charts. They're taking trades that take, days to happen. They have like an hour to look at the charts on Sunday or Saturday or whatever. They have maybe a half hour before their workday on Monday through Friday, a half hour at the end of their workday. Maybe they get an alert at work and they just, move things around at lunchtime. That's a much slower moving trade, but you can get a few of those a month. This works for people who have jobs too, right? And eventually, once you understand what you're doing, once you've built a realistic and performing algorithm, you can use that as the engine to your AI trading bot, your agentic trading bot. We love to show you how to do all that stuff. Just come to algofactory.tech, right? Thanks for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. EST sharp. Do not forget.
Join us or die.
Just kidding. You're not going to die. We love you.